On today's show, we talk about 4th of July festivities, head to Pembroke High School's Arts Festival, talk to Rescue Plymouth Wildlife, and about elder abuse awareness and prevention. And of course, we always look at upcoming things to do in our area. We're glad you're here. Let's get started. Celebrating Independence Day in America's hometown has a special star-spangled uniqueness that draws people from all over the world to Plymouth each year. This year's festivities kick off at 7:30 a.m. with the heart-pumping 9th annual 5K run, followed by the famed 4th of July parade, launching from Cordage Park in North Plymouth at 9 a.m. Cheer for the colorful floats and marching bands from prime viewing spots along the route, which follows Court Street to Main Street, taking a left onto Water Street and arriving at the bottom of Coles Hill. Just before dusk, sway to the sounds of freedom and the fill during the free Esther and Alcide Ruffini 4th of July concert in DCR Pilgrim Memorial State Park at 7:30 p.m., performed by the Plymouth Philharmonic Orchestra. Guest conductor Neil Hampton will lead the musicians in music from Mary Poppins, West Side Story, Pirates of the Caribbean, a medley of the work of American composer Henry Mancini, and the patriotic marches and rousing finale of Tchaikovsky's 1812 Overture. As the concert's guest narrator, Plymouth County District Attorney Timothy Cruz will read excerpts from the Declaration of Independence while accompanied by a euphonious and exuberant score. The spectacular fireworks display will light up the night sky at around 9:15 p.m. Food trucks Mom on the Go and Alden Park will be along the waterfront from the start of the parade until the fireworks' last flash. Brought to you by the nonprofit July 4th Plymouth Inc., you can visit their website at july4th.com for up-to-the-minute details. And if you can't make it to the parade or concert in person, the local scene is here for you. We'll be airing the parade and the concert live on our community channel, Comcast 6 and Verizon 43, starting at 10 a.m. For questions, call 508-830-6999 extension 114 or email community@thelocalscene.media. Young artists are framing the future. We went on the local scene to the Pembroke High School Arts Festival.
My name is Hannah Wallet. I'm a senior at Pembroke High School. My name is Sarah McCarthy. I'm a senior at Pembroke High School.
My name is Kyliana Van Buskirk. I am a senior in high school.
My name is Tyshawn, and I am in 12th grade.
Emma St. John, a 12th grade senior in Pembroke High School.
Hi, my name is Kate Wessinger. I'm a senior at Pembroke High School. My AP theme is all about my childhood and how I connected to the loss of shopping malls. I created most of it with colored pencil, but a lot of it's digital as well. I like to draw a lot of things that I enjoy, like sharks and art history. Art's important to me because I've been doing it my whole life. My brother used to do it a lot, and I liked to do it with him. I also grew up playing a lot of video games and reading comic books, so I really wanted to get into it and make things that other people would like.
So I like to work in a lot of different mediums, digitally or by hand, whether that be painting, drawing, sketching, things like that. A lot of it comes from just like the little moments in life that we often overlook. And I like to focus on like things in nature, the beauty in things. And honestly, the mood of my art kind of depends on what I'm feeling that day, things that I experienced. So yeah, it's kind of all over the place, but it's really emotional for me. It's nice to like put the things I'm feeling into my artwork and just block everything else out.
So most of my artwork comes from just whatever comes to my mind first. I like to draw realistic things and things that I think are pretty. I love drawing butterflies. Butterflies have always been one of my favorite things in the world. I used to catch them when I was younger. It's just something that I like.
Most of my artwork is from my own passions, my pastimes. I love to create art based on Usually non-realistic things, kind of taking it out of proportion from things you'd normally see out in the wild, out anywhere really, in nature or in a domesticated area. I love just taking things a little to the wild side. I love making things that are abnormal. People have to think about it when they look at it.
I love creating my artwork in the classroom because usually I can have like my over-ear headphones on and just use all the materials that they provide me with, and it's just free reign, so it's really easy to make whatever in the classroom. Art's important to me for so many reasons, but I think just to have as an outlet that I enjoy developing as a skill, I think that's really important to me to have in my life.
My artwork is just whatever comes to my mind, what my focal is, and what I'm mostly interested in at the time. Sometimes I'll hyperfixate on angels or just like black and red colors. Some of my stuff is digital, and I also paint as well as watercolor and all the other, medias, like pencil and stuff. And I just really, whatever comes to my mind, I just draw. I see it as like an output for sometimes my emotions as well. Also when I'm bored, I just tend to draw a lot, and it just makes me happy overall, especially when people see what I'm drawing and what I'm creating. It's just important to spread creativity.
Drum circles are a fun way to tap into your uninhibited creativity and foster a strong sense of community with others as you make beautiful music together. The Art Complex Museum is hosting a series of drum circles throughout the summer, and the next one is on Saturday, July 6th from 12 to 1 p.m. Ed Sorrentino, South Shore Conservatory Percussion Department Chair, will facilitate the gathering when each participant will be given a drum or hand percussion instrument to use for the session. Drum circles are all about creating music together, not about perfection. Beginners are welcome. If the weather is good, you'll be drumming under the summer sky. Sign up to join this percussive party through the Art Complex's website. You only must drum up $10 per session to join. The museum is located at 189 Alden Street in Duxbury. Here's a message from Plymouth 4th of July, Inc.
The nonprofit July 4 Plymouth Inc. was created when the town of Plymouth could no longer afford to fund the annual Independence Day celebration. This year, we will celebrate being incorporated 40 years ago on July 3, 1984, with our theme of You're a Grand Old Flag. Each year, our group of volunteers has solicited support from local businesses and you, the residents of Plymouth, to fund and cover the expenses associated with the parade and fireworks. This year, our goal is to raise $126,000 for our celebration. Your support will ensure we can meet that goal and continue to come together to celebrate our freedom, show our community spirit, and share our values as America's hometown. If we meet our goal, the money will fully fund the cost of the parade, fireworks, and entertainment, while also covering the cost of police, fire, and public works personnel that work to ensure a fun and safe family event. Please donate online at www.july4plymouth.com or by mail to July 4 Plymouth, P.O. Box 1776, Plymouth, Mass. 02362. If you would like to be a participant in the parade this year, please register on our website by June 21st. Thank you, Plymouth, for your continued generosity and support, and happy 4th of July from all of us.
The goal of Rescue Plymouth Wildlife is to build a healthier community for wildlife and people. Melissa sat down with founder Will Fitzgerald.
We're here today with Will Fitzgerald, who's the founder of Rescue Plymouth Wildlife. What is the mission of Rescue Plymouth Wildlife?
So our mission is really to raise awareness about how rat poisons commonly used in Plymouth endanger wildlife, pets, and people, specifically birds of prey.
Okay.
And the goal of raising that awareness is to really work with the town and other folks to really provide a different paradigm for pest management that's more sustainable and more responsible.
How did this get started?
So I started this in January, really by just partnering with Massachusetts Audubon. So they have created a Climate Champions program, and this is one initiative within that program. And so what they do is they provide sort of background support for local folks like myself who want to get involved in an issue and really run with it.
Interesting. So how big of an issue is this?
Well, that's really tough to say in some ways.
Okay.
Because data around this issue isn't very good.
Okay.
But the data that we do have, the best data set really is from Tufts Wildlife Clinic and Dr. Maureen Murray, who's published 2 studies, one in 2016 and one in 2017 and the other in 2020. And the one in 2017 found that of the birds of prey that were brought to Tufts Wildlife Clinic between 2012 and 2016, 95% of those birds had these poisons in their tissues. And in the 2020 update to that study, 100% of red-tailed hawks that were brought to the Tufts Wildlife Clinic from 2018 to 2019 had these chemicals in their tissues. Okay. So they're pervasive in the environment.
How are you working to mitigate the issue?
So really the biggest thing that we're trying to do is to let folks know what these poisons are. They've been around since the 1970s, but just not a lot of folks know what they are, how they work, and really the costs that are associated with using them. Mm-hmm. So the EPA actually has restricted their sale to end consumers in 2015. However, those restrictions are largely circumvented by e-commerce. However, most of the poisons that are out there are legally used by licensed pest management professionals. So really what we're trying to do is educate the consumer so they can have a conversation with their pest management professional to really perform or really to pursue poison-free tactics, or integrated pest management as it's called.
So it's really learning, educating,
yes,
and building support for on both sides, really, because it's an issue that everyone can be involved in, and there are different ways to come about it, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is that we all want to live in a community that values public health. Mm-hmm. And no one's disputing that rodents in certain circumstances can be detrimental to public health. They've been implicated in health crises really for hundreds, if not thousands of years. However, there are things you can do that don't add poisons to our ecosystem and our communities to deal with that issue. Yeah. So really what we're trying to do is raise awareness about those alternatives and how in the long term they can be more effective than introducing this particularly toxic class of poisons into our community.
Have you been working with the town or talking with the town at all?
Yeah, absolutely. The town's been really helpful. Sustainable Plymouth has been a great organization, a great ally for me, but I first testified at the select board meeting on the 27th of February, and then that's led to several conversations with our sustainability coordinator, DPW, Department of Energy and Environment. So really there's been no shortage of people willing to talk to me and learn more about this issue. And as a result, I continue to learn more, and I learn about more people I can reach out to really just continue a discussion that leads to a solution that's best for Plymouth. Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned pest management a few minutes ago. Can you explain what that is and what it can be?
Yeah, so integrated pest management is a framework that's been around really since the 1970s as well. It started to develop in California after the publication of Silent Spring. And what it does is it focuses on how can we reduce our reliance on chemicals, particularly because since rodents breed so fast, they can develop biological resistance to certain classes of chemicals, as they have done in this case, a lot faster than the non-target wildlife species that we're trying to protect. Mm-hmm. So if you are using reliable strategies that are effective without poisons, that really sort of allows you to provide a long-term solution to your issue. It may take more effort, may be more expensive in the short term, but it's actually going to solve your problem.
Okay. Is there ever a point where you could use, is it rodenticide?
Yeah.
To maybe not long term, but short term?
Yeah, so
to help if an issue got out of hand.
Yeah, so that's kind of a misnomer that is sort of flying around this issue right now. Folks use the word ban a lot, but in reality, the California moratorium on the use of these poisons is not a ban specifically. It allows for timed, tailored uses of these poisons in situations where there is an imminent or ongoing rodent infestation of public health consequence.
Okay.
And what that requires, though, is that the pest management folks dealing with this issue go to a public health official, either in town or at the state level, to show, hey, we still have a significant problem here, but we've tried all of the non-poison alternatives to exclusion, to prevention. We still have a problem here, and here are the circumstances that we're going to use these poisons in a way that allows us to minimize the risk of exposure to non-target wildlife.
Okay.
So there are definite carve-outs to whatever prohibitions in place, whether it's in California or in the different towns and cities in the Commonwealth that have enacted these.
So I'm assuming that it's not necessarily, Plymouth isn't the only place that has an issue.
No. And that's sort of the thing, if you look at the data, it's all sort of relative. What defines a rodent issue for a particular town? Because in Brookline and other towns that have already moved away from using these poisons, at the height of their troubles in 2022 and 2023, they were getting 40 rodent calls a month and upwards. In Plymouth, we've had, we had 12 in 2022, 14 in 2023. Now we're on pace for 16, but that's for the whole year.
Okay.
So it's a bit of it's not an apples to apples comparison.
Right.
But still, folks see rodents and are concerned about potential risks to the health of themselves or their children or their families, and they want a solution. Unfortunately, when you're dealing with a species that's as resilient as rodents are, it's not going to be an easy fix.
Right. So this is just the beginning
Yes.
of the conversation
Yes.
that you're having with not just the town, but everyone. What's the goal?
So really the end goal is to work with the town to create a paradigm that requires more accountability for pest management professionals who plan to use these poisons in the first place. Because right now, there just isn't a robust reporting requirement. So we may be using poisons in situations where they may not be warranted.
Yeah. How can people learn more about this topic? Where can they go?
Yeah. So they can go to our website. It's rescueplymouthwildlife.org. We have a variety of resources on the issue, and we also have a lot of great partners. RaptorsAreTheSolution.org is a great organization out in California, and they've served as really helpful resources to myself, but to other folks in the Massachusetts Coalition around this issue. Save Arlington Wildlife is a really great organization run by Laura Kiesel, who's really a pioneer on this issue for us. So she's done an amazing amount of work. So she has a lot of great resources as well. We also worked as a coalition to develop a integrated pest management resource guide that's available also. So there's a ton of information out there. The key thing is we got to try to get the best resources in one place.
Okay. And to continue to have the conversations.
Exactly. And continue to learn more.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Will, for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
For more information about this new nonprofit, visit rescueplymouthwildlife.org. Are you a vampire, werewolf, or witch? Tweens and teens discover their supernatural lineage at Monster Mash, Big Ryan's latest mystery room game, which is clawing and howling its way to the Kingston Public Library on Thursday, July 11th at 2 p.m. The game's goal is to unearth the monster within you and solve mind-bending challenges and tricky puzzle games to become the leader of your pack. Designed for friendly monsters ages 7 to 16, it is recommended that 7 to 9-year-olds get a little help with the game from a grown-up caretaker. Monster Mash will take place in the teen room of the library. Stomp your way to the Kingston Public Library website to sign up. If you feel comfortable using legal jargon in everyday life, get ready to brush up on the bend and snap because Legally Blonde the Musical is on its way to the Priscilla Beach Theater, running from July 5th to the 20th. bright, buoyant, and funny. Legally Blonde is a journey of self-discovery and empowerment that follows Harvard's favorite blonde, but not that blonde, Elle Wood, as she battles stereotypes and scandal in pursuit of her dreams. The show runs for 12 evening performances and includes matinee shows on Sunday, July 7th and July 14th. Tickets can be bought online at pbtheater.org. Pilgrim Hall Museum turns 200. Here's Executive Director Donna Curtin.
Pilgrim Hall Museum's 200th anniversary is well underway, and the whole community is part of the festivities. I'm Donna Curtin, Executive Director of Pilgrim Hall Museum, America's oldest continuously operating public museum located right here in historic downtown Plymouth. Fundraising activities are continuing as we work towards the restoration of our original 1824 building and the priceless art housed within. One of those activities was the Pilgrim Hall Museum Golf Tournament this past month. We're so appreciative of the incredible community support we received at this event. Speaking of events, there are great things happening at the museum all year long. And these include our 2024 Speaker Series, where notable authors and historians will spotlight the region's multi-layered history. Visit pilgrimhall.org for more info on these and other events. Again, that's one word, pilgrimhall.org. Be part of history and visit the museum during this historic anniversary. And remember, admission is free for Plymouth residents. Thank you.
As the age of our population rises, so do the incidences of elder abuse and neglect. Respecting and protecting our elders makes us stronger as a community. Here's more on this important topic.
Elder abuse is when a senior citizen is abused. Elders should be revered. They are our leaders. We should be looking to them for advice, for understanding what's best in our community. They are the people we should be turning to when we have questions, not the people we should be pushing aside because we are assuming that they bring no value to the community. When we do that to seniors, we're abusing them. All of us have parents or grandparents, and thinking about those that we love being abused by someone else, feeling helpless, not able to protect themselves. Imagine that in your own world. Remember the time we all looked out for each other? We need to get back to that.
Elder abuse can take many forms: physical, emotional, neglect, self-neglect, sexual abuse. Physical abuse could be somebody inflicting pain on somebody in terms of, you think of, physical injuries. It could be bruising, it could be being pushed. Emotional abuse is when an elder gets, yelled at or screamed at, and there's an impact in terms of them being upset and crying. Neglect is when you have a caretaker that may not be meeting their day-to-day needs, which could be personal care or medical care. For sexual abuse, it does happen with elders. It's the most underreported. Now, sexual abuse is unwanted touching, or it could be, forced, sexual incidents, things like that. And then the big one that is out there is financial exploitation. Having them sign documents that they don't want to sign, having them sign over their home, or taking them to the bank and withdrawing the money under coercion, duress, intimidation, or false pretenses. So those would be some of the signs and symptoms. Other things you might see is bills being unpaid, a buildup of mail, a buildup of home delivered meals. You may see a car that has dents and so forth to indicate that there might be something going on in terms of their ability to drive safely.
I think one of the biggest forms of elder abuse that our community does not understand is elder abuse is called self-abuse. And that is when a senior abuses themselves. It can take the form of, think of medication. A senior stops taking their medication, overtakes their medication, stops eating, does not eat healthy, stops going to the doctor. Maybe they have a heart condition, diabetes. They stop managing their health. That is self-abuse, and it's one of the biggest forms of elder abuse. Signs of elder abuse that we should be looking for. Think and look for seniors that are withdrawn, that seem very sad, that are not engaging with their peers, they're not socializing. If their language speaks to sadness, if they're really concerned or expressing concern about a certain person, the bottom line is pay attention. If we listen to our seniors, you will know if something is wrong.
If you suspect abuse or neglect, we ask that you report it. See something, say something. So we ask that you file a report for elder abuse at the Elder Abuse Hotline. It's 1-800-922-2275. And you can file a report 24/7. If you suspect something, we ask that you report it. Elder abuse can be prevented if there's strong connections within the family and within the community. If we were checking in on our elders and our neighbors, I think that that is a good start. Knowing that, what is happening with people, and just like I said, having that communication and collaboration is key. So therefore that you may see something start to go down a road, and you may be able to intervene to prevent it.
If you suspect an elder is being abused, you have an absolute obligation to speak up. You should report to Old Colony Elder Services, Protective Services. They're also known as OCES. All they do is investigate elder abuse. And guess what? It's anonymous. If you choose to file a report or state your concerns, you do not have to give identifying information. But you should allow yourself the peace and comfort. If you're wrong, be happy you're wrong. But if you're right, you may have just prevented that elder from being abused further. We can prevent this as a community. We just have to support those that are working with and dealing with elders. We have to educate. People may not even understand that they're not treating elders in the way that they should. We have an obligation to educate people and support those that are caring for elders so that this never happens again.
Our elders want to live free from abuse, and they deserve that.
For more information and resources, visit ocs.org. Author Tom Wolfe was the first to address changing social values of Americans in the 1970s by dubbing it the Me Decade, when focus shifted away from concerns about the general welfare of society as a whole and leaned towards self-interest and individualism. On Monday, July 15th, get ready to bring it all back to me with a multimedia presentation called The Me Decade, a cultural review of the 1970s through music at the Pembroke Council on Aging. This dynamic look back in time will explore the cultural nuances of the decade through audio and visual displays, highlighting relevant music from the era, historical video clips, and live music sing-alongs. Made possible by a grant from the Pembroke Cultural Council, the presentation starts at 5 p.m. at the council headquarters, located at 144 Center Street. Plymouth Patuxent Museum's best night of the week is every Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m. throughout the summer. In addition to the beauty of the museum's winding walk through historical sites and sweeping ocean view, this unique to the season, family-friendly evening event includes fun lawn games, fresh, delicious pizza from Plentiful Cafe, cooked to order in a clay oven, and gooey roasted marshmallows over the flames of the pavilion's outdoor fireplace. Depending on the day, there is also music or a pop-up museum exhibit. On Thursday, July 11th, upbeat acoustic guitarist and singer Mike McHugh will be strumming out classic rock and blues-influenced tunes. Admission is free for members or kids 12 and under. For adults who are not members, general admission applies. Visit plymouth.org to learn more. the Plymouth Public Library Foundation invites you to the second annual Plymouth Garden Tour, an entire day of strolling through a variety of gorgeous local gardens, each uniquely alluring in design and appeal. This all-day event is on July 11th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., starting at the Plymouth Library Community Garden, where you will receive a booklet listing all of the vibrant gardens included on the tour, which you can then visit at your own pace. From 11 to 2, visit the library garden, where you can ask questions and get cultivation information from landscapers, green space professionals, and a master gardener. All proceeds of the $30 per person admission will be used to complete the renovation of the Dr. Richard M. Schiff Garden. Please register through the library's website or Eventbrite. Pembroke Public Library has some news for you.
Hi there, my name is Peter Santori, and I'm the Reference and Adult Services Librarian at the Pembroke Public Library. Today, I wanted to take a moment to tell you about our online tutorials provided by Niche Academy. Available to everyone who visits our website, these short and comprehensive video tutorials offer help for some of our free online resources, as well as other essential topics, such as Microsoft Office, social media, and research. To find the tutorials, navigate to Online Tutorials under the Research and Learning tab. Once there, you can search for a specific tutorial or scroll through the list to see what we have available. The tutorials consist of both audio, video, and text instructions with images. They contain the same information, so you can learn in whichever way you feel is best for you. Each tutorial is broken into a few parts, and to navigate between them, you can either use the Lessons tab at the top right of the tutorial or the forward and back arrows at the bottom. If you're watching the video, you'll also be moved on to the next section when it's finished. These tutorials help provide a strong foundation in using our resources, and we're thrilled to be able to provide them to you. Stop by the library or visit our website to learn more and give them a try for yourself.
Get your feet moving every week throughout the summer season with Tidmarsh Summer Adventures. In partnership with the Plymouth Public Library, these guided walks given by Mass Audubon staff members wind through the vast variety of plants, geology, and wildlife of the Tidmarsh Wildlife Sanctuary. On Thursday, July 11th, the view will shift a bit, and the weekly summer adventure walk will meet at and tour through the beautiful and always growing Plymouth Public Library's community garden at the main branch of the library at 132 South Street in Plymouth. This tour goes from 9 a.m. to 11 and is free to all. Registration is not necessary, but is recommended. You can do so through the Mass Audubon website. Are you ready to rocks? Grammy-nominated Divinity Rocks will be raising the roof of the Merry Room at the Duxbury Free Library on Friday, July 12th, with her signature grooves and inspirational lyrics. Heralded by the Chicago Sun-Times as a true kid idol, after her performance at Kidsapalooza, she released a family music album in 2021 called Ready, Set, Go, and has 2 books published by Scholastic Inc., based on songs from the album. A virtuoso on the bass guitar, Rocks toured and performed with Beyoncé as a musician and musical director, performed for Barack Obama in the White House, and has appeared on numerous TV shows. The show will start at 10:30 a.m. and will be a rockin' good time for all ages. Children's grade 3 and under must be accompanied by a caregiver. Registration will open on the library's website on June 28th. And that, my friends, wraps this episode of What's Good and Good to Know in our area. We are grateful for your attention. We'll see you on the local scene. For more of what's good and good to know on the South Shore of Massachusetts, hit the subscribe button, and thank you for watching.